How's everyone doing? My voice is in bits, I'll tell you that from the game last night, absolute bits. But yeah, these are the player ratings from Leeds versus West Brom, which ended in a draw. Let's just get into it. Obviously, starting off with the GK, Ilan Meslier. I give Ilan a 5.5 this week. Very consistent in terms of what the performances we're getting from Ilan Meslier. But he made a great save in there, and he really was in a big area of the game as well. Fantastic save. We did concede a few minutes after, but that goal was just ridiculous. How many different deflections does a goal have to take and then hit a hand to go into the back of the net? Where's our goal? I want a goal like that. Give us that. We did one of them and it hit the post, inside of the post. Ah, whatever. Annoying. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was all right again. Slight hesitation on distribution. Sometimes I think that again that's to do with the options, the passes, being more honest with the players in front of him, asking for those positions. Are they there? Are they giving him an option to pass to? I don't know. At times, I don't think they are. But then choosing the wrong option at times, he does do that. But he's all right for me. He's doing fine this season. I don't get the overreaction some people are having on him. I think he's doing absolutely fine. Otherwise, Farker wouldn't pick him. It's quite simple. Caldalo's there, who's a very good keeper at this level, or a decent keeper at this level. He'd pick him if Elan wasn't doing good enough. So 5.5. Not much to do again. Fullbacks. Again, Luke Ayling taking a battering on social media as usual, no matter what he does. But anyway, Sam Byram. I'm really impressed by Sam Byram, and I said this when he joined. It was never his implication onto a game. It was never his ability. Sam Byram. It was just his injury record and his fitness that really let him down, playing at high level and stuff like that. So now we're seeing a player who's just settling in. He's kind of going under the radar because he didn't come for money. He came for free. Sort of came in through a trial period, and then and that type of way. He's kind of just come in, settled in. He's doing a really solid job at left back. Like 1v1s, you hardly see him get beat. Sam's only real actual weakness I can think of is in the air when they do go down that side in the air, which they do a lot. He does often get beaten, but that he's not good at that. I'm not going to criticize someone that's just naturally not good at. I'm terrible in the air, but I'm quick. So you know what I mean. I'm really good in 1v1 situations. Do want to see a little bit more progression from Sam. Didn't progress the balls enough last night for me. But again, that might be down to giving Dan James the space to occupy going forward. Yeah, 7 out of 10. Very solid in defensively from Sam Byram. Luke Ayling, I put a good attacking threat because, again, there's always going to be questions defensively about Luke Ayling. I think his recovery speed going backwards is not great, but when he marauders forward, uh, he looks really effective. And I'm looking at that second half and the momentum we had in the second half. Down that right side, he was almost playing as that winger because we didn't have that natural winger in Shackleton who tucked in furthermore and created more options kind of in the midfield. So Luke Ayling, I know people are just going to hate and hate, but at the end of the day, in a game where you're required to have more possession, having a fullback with much better attacking output, especially when you don't have a winger on that side or a guy who is not a winger at all, that is required. Otherwise, we would have gone down the left more and more and more. We already went down the left too much. So that having the outlet on the other side massively helped in terms of transitioning the ball, getting the ball from one side to the other, playing the ball across the defence. And actually, in the second half, going forward, he was really good. Taking guys on, cutting inside, creating passing lanes for other players. Very good going forward. Again, there's the questions of going in the back, and this is why we need to dominate the ball so we don't expose those issues. They are clear issues, and people scammering for Cody Drameh to come in. But for me, from what I've seen, especially at Luton and stuff, going forward, Cody Drameh does not have the desired effect yet that Luke Ayling does. So it's kind of the balancing act of finding someone who kind of has both them attributes. Max Aarons, for example, would have been that guy. But in terms of going forward, in terms of being that threat going forward, I thought Luke Ayling was really good last night in that sense, particularly in that sense. But that he's probably fullback is something we do need more numbers in. We probably need that standout fullback in our side, and we need a bit more depth there as well. But yeah, these two, honestly, apart from set pieces, Cardiff didn't, to me, have a clear chance at Cardiff. Geez, West Brom didn't have chance. I think it's going under the radar bit. I think everyone's too obsessed with the fact that we can't score as many goals as we'd like because we've not got the players to do that yet. But defensively, We look great. Like, as a whole, in terms of allowing chances, I think we look really good. We still, obviously, we have silly mistakes. We always do. That's why we concede. But actually, as a unit, as a structural defence, I think we look really good. And these two guys right here were absolutely class last night for me. Really good. I was really impressed with the balance. I'm not going to go too much on Rodon because he's been here. This is his first game, and Farkas said obviously there's ways he took too much risk sometimes, which I agree with. But he came out well in them. But again, that's understanding the system, understanding where you're looking to pass instantly as soon as you get the ball, whether you're meant to drive or pass. And there was one or two occasions where at the back, Luke Ayling pushed right up, Xhaka tucked in, and you just wanting Rodon to just be a little bit more wider. So there's all that channel. We went down the left a bit often, too much. So, but for me, Joe Rodon was excellent. A fantastic debut for Joe Rodon. On the ball, he was brilliant. Don't think he missed a tackle or lost a duel in the entire game. No, he didn't. Look there. There it is. Ground duels 1, Joe Rodon 3. Aerial duels 1, 7 out of 7. Pass accuracy, 93%. This is exactly what we need from our centre-backs at Leeds United. This is what Daniel Farke needs in his system. This guy, this type of player. Dominant in the air, dominant in the tackle, didn't get dribbled past, good on the ball. Excellent. Yeah, and if this is the partnership and it stays consistent and it gets a run of games, a very solid partnership to have. Pascal Struijk, for me, best player on the pitch. He's close with another guy. Me, assured, confident, good on the ball, solid. What else to say? I just think he was all those things. But he looked like the guy we had, Bielsa, and he was fit and in a run of games, and that's it for Pascal. Getting fit and in a run of games and having someone next to him he knows he can rely on to maybe help him out in ways he's not great is brilliant. And these two yesterday, fantastic for me. Look, they'll have tougher tests. They will. West Brom play with barely a striker. Santé likes to drift out wide. They'll have direct, big guys in front of them. That's the test for them. Or maybe they'll play against 2 at the back with them. They're the tests. But yesterday, them 2 were excellent. That's what I need from my centre-back partnership. That if the rest of the field can match the levels of the centre-back partnership last night, wow. But yeah, 8 out of 10, Pascal. And I don't give 8s much. That was very impressive from Pascal. Very impressive indeed. From both of them. The midfield, solid again for me. The reason I give a 6.5 to both of them is at times, again, it's them to really understanding the balance they have. That'll come in time. Archie's a 17-year-old thing. Tell you what I don't agree with. I really don't agree with this at all. Is this whole burnout. We need to be careful with Archie Gray. Guys, he's played 3 games. He's 17. He can play 5 games a week. You don't burn out when you're 17. Trust me. You don't. You do not. He's played 3 games into a season. We're not talking about burnout. He's playing 25 games in a row. Maybe then you need to look. Are you all right, Arch? He's playing 25 games in a row and he's absolutely fine. He's not going to burn out. Burning out is when you're constantly relying on a player every week when he's not performing. And they have to do everything in the midfield. He didn't have to do everything in the midfield. He's got Ethan Ampadu next to him. He's got a great partner. Right? He's not burnt out. 3 games into a season. He's 17. You don't get burnt out at 17. The issue with Archie Gray is if he does, which he will run into a bit of form where he's not being consistent, he needs someone in there, the backup, who can come in and do a good job so he's not reliant on Archie Gray. That's the problem. It's the reliance of it. Not the fact that he's playing. I've seen people, I don't think it's wild, people saying we can't rely on him in terms of he shouldn't be playing every game. He should be playing every game if he's playing as well as he is. Of course he should. I don't think it was his best game yesterday, but he's very good in areas of it. I still think we need that absolute 10 in there to help these 2 out, because then them 2 will be much better in the positional play. You play Archie Gray. The burnout thing. Who's burnt out as a 17-year-old? I've never seen it. Not for me. You need the competition around him because you can't rely on him because he's a young lad and he's not going to be this consistent the entire season. Of course not. But as a short term, game for game, you rely on him now because he's playing really well. There's no sign of a burnout. He looks fine. Barker wouldn't play him every single game if he didn't have to. He's playing good. There's nothing to do with a burnout for me at all. I think that's wild, personally. Play the man. If he's playing really well, play him. Ampadu again, consistent performer. I think give these two higher, but I just think the first half they lost to grips a little bit of the game at times, but the second half they were constant. Winning the second balls from Ampadu was brilliant, maintaining that pressure, allowing us to maintain the ball and keep momentum. Ampadu was really good in that sense. Look, I'm giving it a 6.5 because I think that's a solid score, and the other two were brilliant, the defenders. Solid from them too again, but yeah, I really don't agree with the Archie Gray stuff at all. If he's playing well, play him every game. You just need that kind of solidity around him for when he's not playing well. You don't have to rely on him every single game. He can go into each game with freedom, knowing that if he's not playing well, that's fine. I'm a 17-year-old. Some experienced guy can come in and do a job. That's what you need. But fair play to him. He's brilliant. What a talent. Got a feeling we won't keep him for long, I'll be honest. These two guys, I won't... Look, Sam Greenwood came on in the summit minute. This is Sam Greenwood behind my head, by the way. He did all right. Nothing he could have done, really. Nothing much in the game. The game had died off at that point. Won a foul, I think. Not much he could have done. 5 out of 10. Shaxx, a lot of contrasting things on Shaxx. See what people like to do? They like to use attributes and use it against them. So, for example, when Shaxx runs around, it's the whole, anyone could do that. Anyone should do that for the badge. Right? Yeah, of course. But the thing about Shackleton is there his attributes. Shackleton isn't a person that's going to run through 6 players and hit one in the top corner. That's not his attributes. So I'm not going to criticise a player for not doing that because that's not his attributes. It's like criticising me for not winning a header or winning a 50-50 shoulder badge. I'm not going to do that. I'm a quick player. I'll run past people. I'll dribble. If I'm not running past people, I'm not dribbling past people. Criticise me. That's my strength. Like, it's wild to me that, look, Shackleton's not that guy. What Shackleton will do, and what Shackleton did yesterday was the effective side of Shackleton. Off the ball, he was excellent, and that can't be misinstated. Off the ball is huge, especially against the Carlos Corberán side, who are very advanced in terms of tactics. They're very good tactically. Carlos Corberán, very deep in his tactics, isn't he? But initiating that press is vital, and him and Archie Gray were pivotal in that, providing the press, providing, off the ball movement, positional play to allow us to press up is huge. And when he was on the ball, especially in the second half, a lot more pockets he picked up. He felt a lot more comfortable. He was driving with it a bit more. Looked a lot more confident. Look, Shackleton's not the guy who's not going to change the game for you, but he can really help in a system as a squad player. Shackleton is a good squad player to have for me, my opinion. 6'5", decent from him. Not nothing extravagant. You're not going to get that, but decent. The front three, the final three, and there was one sub, which is, oh God, come on, we need some signings. One sub. We need some signings. Jeez, that's bad. Anyway, the front three. I'll start with Jorginho. Look, I've done a video on the guy, and it's similar to Shackleton. Like, I'll be honest. I'll be really honest, guys. I'm bored of this 35 million stuff. It bores me. I get it. Yeah, everyone knows how much it costs. He knows. He's mentioned it. He mentioned in his interview how that's playing on him. But I'm not going to say it. What's the point in using that? I just leave it. It's a new season. Let him start afresh as a player now. Not the guy we bought in January last year. New season. Give him a clean slate like we have for Dan James and everyone else. Jorginho Rutter is a Leeds United player. The issue with Jorginho Rutter is, for me, as it says there, he's not a striker. He's not suited as striker. The reason he's got to play there is because all our strikers are injured. And he played there last year for Hoffenheim, so this is more effective. And he was more effective than when Joffrey was there, in my opinion. But the level isn't great. I put 5 out of 10 because, again, I'm looking at a guy here and looking at his attributes, and the little things he did in the game well, with 2 or 3 times he did well, were all from deeper areas. Either through the middle or wide, just deeper than the striker. That's where he's more effective. That's where he can be really good in transition. Picking out some decent passes, getting some good areas, being dangerous on the half turn. Decent shot at the end, unlucky. This is the areas I'm looking at him thinking, and people saying he's bad, I totally disagree. He's not. He's a young lad. He's literally 19. We're comparing him, like, we're looking at these other lads and giving them time. Why is he not getting time? Because his price tag. That's not his fault. I hate that. Honestly, I do. Like, what he needs, needs competition there. I'll explain that. He needs competition because he can play the performance he played yesterday every game now until we get a fit striker, and he'll play. What he needs a striker to come in, hit the ground running. He needs wingers to come in on both sides and hit the ground running. He needs a number 10 to come in and be really good because then he's not in the squad. And then it's on him, right? At the moment, he's all we've got in that position. There's no competition. He's not going to step his game up because he knows he's going to play. When you have solid side, this is when you know what players are made of. And for me, when you have players in front of him, which I think they should be right now, it gives him time. He came in a vile situation last year. All that price tag talk within 1 week of him being here, playing in a side, different managers, system that he didn't fit at all, and it coming on when he's 4-0 down, expecting to do something. The crowd that is really anxious at the time, given where we were in the league, not knowing the language, 19 years old. I looked at a guy a few years ago and I watched a little bit of him in the Bundesliga. His first season at Hoffenheim, where he's got 8 goals and 15 starts. And what he played with there was freedom and energy. He's not got that here. At the moment, you can see in his ways, even with his sleeves, when he puts the sleeves over his hands, I don't like that. He's playing in himself. Jorginho Rutter is a free soul. Give him freedom to express himself. Give him freedom to be joyful. And that's what you need when there's less pressure on him. In a winning side, for me, when he comes on, he's got a bit of freedom and a bit of joy. He'll destroy teams in this league. People can't see that, and that's fine. That's fine. I can. That's fine. Differences of opinions. Based on just what a lot of people in Germany and France said about him when he was younger and about what potential he's got and the talent he has. At 19 years old, he just needs someone else in there who's going to make him step his game up, and then you see what he's made of. If he's not made for it, we'll find out. But I'm still going to give him time because 1, he's not a striker, and 2, he's still adapting to this country and the system and everything. A lot of these guys speak English. He's learning. When you communicate properly with the players around you, it'll be much more easy for him, understanding what Farke wants. So I'm going to give him more time. You guys, some of you guys don't have to. I'm not bothered. I will. That's on me. Joffe, yeah, he grew into the second half. Again, with Joffe, squad player for me. I'm not going to go too much into Joffe. It was all right. Second half, he did build play up a little bit more. He liked some pockets he picked into. Him and Dan James have a decent connection. He likes finding Dan James. But yeah, 6 out of 10. Dan James up with Pascal as our best player. I thought he was fantastic. And that was put into account when Carlos Cobrahan knew the lack of threat we had on the right. So what he did was every time Dan James got the ball, after the first few minutes where he put Furlong on a yellow card by absolutely bursting him, he put 4 men around him every time he had the ball. 1, that shows 2 things. 1, the player's a threat. And 2, obviously you're protecting the guy on the yellow card. But by putting all them around him, you know that's the core threat. You know that's the guy that they're relying on to get the ball up the pitch. And 2, that means there's a lack of threat on the other side, so you could allow an extra man over. So that needs to be assured. We were not balanced last night. That was my issue. But Dan James, when he got on the ball, he was so creative in the sense that he just did it. He just went forward with it. He'd find good passes. The great cross and that shot. How that shot's not gone in. What a save, by the way. He was an inch away from getting a good assist and an excellent goal last night. Dan James is a Dan James player. Like, we know what Dan James is. I'm not going to sit here and say he needs to be technically better. He's not that. That's not him. And games will be inconsistent and frustrating. But games like yesterday, he'll put everything into it and he'll be constant going forward and forward all the time. Destroying, forward, just being a progressive player that we need. It was excellent last night. It really was. He was the force to be reckoned with. I was like, this is what I mean. I don't give up on players because there's players inside of players. And people look at the worst of them and say, get rid of him. Why does it always get rid? Let's give these guys time. But that needs depth. We need depth in the squad. That is vital. Because these players won't have time because we're frustrated because they're on the pitch and we need them to perform every minute because we don't have any subs to come on to change the game. We need more players. We need more competition. That's what we need in this season right now. That is vital. Huge. We need a number 10. We need a striker. We need another winger. Another midfielder. Fullback. Like, number 10 is huge. Another midfielder in there. A real creative one is huge for me. And a striker. But yeah. Overall, very happy with the performance. People forgetting that we're playing against a football team. Everyone's like, oh, West Brom are terrible. They're not. They're a good side. Farker said it at the end of the game. You know, we talked about it on Joe's show the other day. They're a good side. They've got a really good manager. A manager a lot of Leeds fans, including me, wanted. And you could argue, with the bare bones squad, we looked better. Our style was implemented more than theirs. I thought we were really good, given what we've got. Farker's doing a brilliant job with a real lack of a squad. A real lack of a squad. 5 outfield players on the bench, mainly children. Jeez. Lack of a squad, huge. But look, given the situation we're in, this next week is huge for Leeds United now. We have to get players in. There's no more. This has to be this week. We have to do that. Because this squad is bare bones and struggling. Because we've got nothing to come on the bench. We made 1 sub. Happy with that. Good side of West Brom. People saying they're not. They're terrible. We made them look that. They're not great on the ball, but well coached. Their recovery is brilliant. They can be dangerous going forward at times. We didn't allow that at times. Because after we lost the ball, our press was really good. But yeah. Good performance for me. Can be improved. We need a lot more sharpness in the final third for sure. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate all the support. And see you soon. Please leave a like. Appreciate everything. Peace.